Hi, my name's Jillian and I am the owner of Body Labs Yoga and Education, and I am on a mission to create more confident yoga teachers and movement professionals through anatomical insights. So today we're going to talk about the breath. And no, the breath is not an anatomy part of our body. However, there are different parts of the body, anatomical areas, that are going to really have an impact on the breath. So if we just talk functionally about the breath, we have two lungs, one on either side here, all right? Most people are going to have two lungs, one on either side, and they are encased in this rib cage, all right? It's literally called a cage. So we have the heart in the center, we have the lungs on either side, and those structures are protected by this cage because they are our vital organs. We cannot live without these structures, all right? Now, when we take a breath, I want you to take a moment and just think about what directions your body needs to expand in order for you to take a breath. So sometimes what happens when we are breathing is that the breath gets kind of stuck right here, right at the front of the chest, upper chest. And that's okay. We're still breathing. We're still getting the oxygen that we need and doing the gas transfers that we need to do in order for our body to be healthy. However, it is a bit of a restricted breath. And when we breathe in this upper chest area, what tends to happen is that we get a little bit stuck in what's called a sympathetic nervous state. It's a whole different conversation, but it kind of gets us primed for a fight or flight response, okay? Just talking really simply with that. Now, what I want you to understand, and I'm just gonna grab this, what I want you to understand is that when you take a breath, your lungs actually need to expand in all directions. They're not able to expand in just one direction, all right? So when we feel our breath high in the chest, it doesn't really mean that the lower parts of the lungs are not inflating. What it means is that the musculature in the lower part of the ribs, back, abdomen are restricting the movement there and forcing more inhalation in the upper chest, okay? So our lungs expand in all directions, okay? They don't just expand anteriorly and posteriorly, superiorly and inferiorly, laterally, medially, whatever. They are going to expand in this 360 way, okay? Now, there is a structure below that does limit us a little bit, all right, because it is there to essentially do the breathing for us, all right? So when you take an inhale, the major muscle of the breath is this abdominal or respiratory diaphragm, all right? And what happens when we take an inhale is that this diaphragm is going to, the fibers are going to shorten and it is going to descend, all right? And then as we exhale, it's going to relax and it's going to push the air out of the lungs, okay? And so the exhale is a relaxed position for the muscles of respiration, all right? But the rib cage needs to move, be able to move in order for us to expand our lungs in all directions. So we have this movement happening downwards, inferiorly, but we're really restricted in this area unless we create movement there, okay? Now, if I stand around here really quick, what you can see, and I'll bring him a little bit closer here, what you can see is that as the ribs come around here, they're going to connect in towards the vertebrae. And this is how we know the difference between the different levels of vertebrae. So we've got the cervical vertebrae up here in the neck, we've got the thoracic vertebrae in here, and then we've got the lumbar vertebrae in here. The only vertebrae that have ribs coming in to attach and create a joint with them are the vertebrae here in the torso. So we are going to have thoracic vertebrae in this area. Okay, so only the thoracic vertebrae have facet joints with the ribs. All right. And what happens is that these ribs are going to come in and they actually, I don't know if you can see, but they actually connect into two different vertebrae, all right? So each level of rib is going to connect with 1 and 2 vertebrae, 1 and 2 vertebrae, all right? So what happens is that if these are my 2 vertebrae and this is my rib coming in, the rib is going to move like this, all right? So as we take an inhale, that rib is going to hinge upwards, and as we exhale, it's going to come down. And that's what allows the ribs to expand and contract with the breath, all right? So that is going to be today's movement practice.